This is the last time I saw my childhood friend. It was just yesterday that I was playing with my favorite toy. A tiny plush mouse that I named Toby. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was playing with Toby in the living room of my home. My mom had just bought me a brand new toy, a shiny red fire truck with a ladder that reached all the way to the ceiling. But I didn't care about that. I only had eyes for Toby. We were having the time of our lives. I was driving him up and down my arm, pretending that he was a little car zooming through the streets of New York. I don't even remember what I had for lunch that day. And when my mom came into my room to tuck me in, she couldn't help but smile at the sight of me hugging Toby so tightly. "You and Toby seem to be best friends," she said, kissing me on the forehead. "Well, he is my favorite toy," I replied. But as the years went by, Toby didn't get much attention. I grew older and somehow lost interest in my favorite childhood toy. I don't know if it was because I had new friends to play with, or because I had new interests. All I know is that Toby spent most of his days sitting on my shelf, gathering dust. Then one day, I moved out of my childhood home and into an apartment of my own. It was then that I realized how much I missed my old friend. I searched everywhere for him, but he was nowhere to be found. Just when I had given up hope of ever seeing him again, I saw a faint outline under one of the boxes in the attic. I carefully brushed away the dust to reveal a tiny, worn-out plush mouse. It was Toby. I don't know how or why, but he had made his way into the box with all my old childhood toys. I don't even remember moving him there. I must have done it in a dream. I brought Toby back with me to my apartment. I was so happy to have him back in my life. But as the weeks turned into months, I once again got busy with work and other interests and didn't have much time for him. I started going out more often, and Toby didn't come with me. He stayed at home alone, watching me leave. Every time I came back, I noticed that Toby's fur was a bit more matted and his button eyes were a bit more faded. But I didn't care. I was too caught up in my own life to notice. One day, I came home to find that Toby wasn't in his usual spot on the shelf. I looked everywhere for him, but I couldn't find him anywhere. Then I saw a tiny hole in the fabric of my couch. I reached inside and pulled him out. His fur was completely matted and his button eyes were barely hanging on. But when I looked into his stitched-on smile, I could have sworn it was winking at me. And that's when I knew I had to do something. I took Toby out for one last walk in the park. As I sat on a nearby bench, I began to understand that I had neglected him for far too long. I don't know what made me do it, but I suddenly felt compelled to visit my childhood home one last time. So I got up from the bench and started walking towards the house where I grew up. As I approached the front door, I heard a familiar sound. It was the sound of laughter. I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should knock. But then I decided to just turn around and go home. As I walked away, I heard someone call my name. I turned around to see a little girl standing at the front door. She was holding a tiny plush mouse in her hand. "Is this yours?" she asked. I stared at the mouse in her hand, my heart sinking. Then I realized that it was Toby. He had made his way back to my childhood home. Somehow, he had found his way into the hands of the little girl who now lived there. I couldn't help but smile. As I reached out to take Toby from her, I knew that I would never forget my childhood friend.